He who learns must suffer. And even in our sleep pain that cannot forget falls drop by drop upon the heart, and in our own despair, against our will, comes wisdom to us by the awful grace of God. It is in the character of very few men to honor without envy a friend who has prospered. There is no pain so great as the memory of joy in present grief. For the poison of hatred seated near the heart doubles the burden for the one who suffers the disease. He is burdened with his own sorrow, and groans on seeing another's happiness. My friends, whoever has had experience of evils knows how whenever a flood of ills comes upon mortals, a man fears everything, but whenever a divine force cheers on our voyage, then we believe that the same fate will always blow fair. Self-will in the man who does not reckon wisely is by itself the weakest of all things. Neither a life of anarchy nor one beneath a despot should you praise. To all that lies in the middle a God has given excellence. If you pour oil and vinegar into the same vessel, you would call them not friends but opponents. Happiness is a choice that requires effort at times. I have learned to hate all traitors, and there is no disease that I spit on more than treachery. There are times when fear is good. It must keep its watchful place at the heart's controls. By polluting clear water with slime you will never find good drinking water. Death is easier than a wretched life, and better never to have borne than to live and fare badly. Ah, lives of men! When prosperous they glitters like a fair picture. When misfortune comes, a wet sponge at one blow has blurred the painting. It is an easy thing for one whose foot is on the outside of calamity to give advice and to rebuke the sufferer. It is a light thing for whoever keeps his foot outside trouble to advise and counsel him that suffers. For this is the mark of a wise and upright man, not to rail against the gods in misfortune. And though all streams flow from a single course to cleanse the blood from polluted hand, they hasten on their course in vain. To mourn and bewail your ill fortune, when you will gain a tear from those who listen, this is worth the trouble. There is no disgrace in an enemy suffering ill at an enemy's hand, when you hate mutually. If a man suffers ill, let it be without shame, for this is the only profit when we are dead. You will never say a good word about deeds that are evil and disgraceful. What exists outside is a man's concern. Let no woman give advice, and do no mischief within doors. Search well and be wise, nor believe that self-willed pride will ever be better than good counsel. Alas for the affairs of men! When they are fortunate you might compare them to a shadow, and if they are unfortunate, a wet sponge with one dash wipes the picture away. For there is no defense for a man who, in the excess of his wealth, has kicked the great altar of justice out of sight. I, schooled in misery, know many purifying rites, and I know where speech is proper and where silence. A god implants in mortal guilt whenever he wants utterly to confound a house. Only when a man's life comes to its end in prosperity dare we pronounce him happy. Unions in wedlock are perverted by the victory of shameless passion that masters the female among men and beasts.